Bonjour, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know who I am or recognise my face, I'm Black and White Banter, and I'm here with Dabble today to look a little bit deeper into your most funny and controversial Premier League opinions. I'm going to divulge, dissect, and rip apart, in some cases, those ones that are, by every name of the definition, controversial. But every one that I do share, you will get a £5 free bet for the privilege of sending it in, put into your account. £5 would have once got you a pint of lager down the pub. Now you'd be very lucky. More like a pint of milk. But out for now, and thank you very much for sending them in. So let's just kick this straight off with a name that I love, that with one letter change, and I don't need to paint the picture too much, you'll know exactly what I mean, is more of a phrase I'm used to. Thunderpunt, Mr. Thunderpunt. Let's kick off with him. Thunderpunt Argo. He says, people say Man City destroyed the Premier League with their oil money, but Chelsea destroyed it first with the Roman era, and everyone else followed. Now, I'm going to divulge into this one on two sides. I think one side is factual and certainly not controversial. The other side is the bit where I might have to do a bit of picking apart because I don't really agree. So the factual side, look, if I spin you back in that time machine, back to the early 2000s, can you remember that takeover? I was only young at the time. Seeing it on the TV. Can you remember Hernan Crespo? Baller, by the way. Wayne Bridge, John Terry's bestest of best friends. Adrian Mutu. Less said about where his career went, the better. Damien Duff, who was useless in these black and white stripes. They were just all lined up with Claudio Ranieri on the telly, and I was just like, what? It felt like we were witnessing history. What the hell is going on? And I think it's quite factually correct to say that oil money, which I know is the phrase used here, was first brought in by Chelsea. That's true, because I look at then what happened 4 years later, I think it was, with Manchester City, and then everything that's followed since. Yes, Newcastle do fall into that more recently in 2021, but Chelsea were first. It did wake everyone up. It did suddenly make the Premier League look more appealing to those investors further down the line. So I totally agree. That's factual. That is worthy of a free bet in itself. But the part I'm going to disagree with is the repeated use of the word destroyed here from Mr. Punt. Mr. Punt, make sure I get that one right. Destroyed, I'm going to guess from using that word twice, you won't be using that free bet on Man City or Chelsea because it doesn't sound like you like the money in the Premier League very, very much. But what I would say to that is I don't think it did that. I think it did the total opposite. If I take you back to that Chelsea takeover, the Premier League title race looked a little bit like Man United, Arsenal. Oh, Man United. Arsenal. Oh, Arsenal again. Man United. Apart from Blackburn in the mid-90s, it wasn't that competitive of a title race. Of course, Jose Mourinho comes in a year after that takeover, and suddenly they are competing. And if I fast forward to 2026, Manchester City winning everything there is to win, still a force to be reckoned with in Europe and in the world. And all of the domino effect of takeovers that have happened since, not just from oil money, but like Liverpool getting taken over by the Americans and having to invest heavily if they wanted to even compete, which they have. Us, the Newcastles, the Aston Villas, all chucking money at it. It's made the Premier League today, in my opinion, particularly in that title race and that top four race, a little bit more competitive than what it was back when Chelsea were first taken over. So I don't think it's destroyed the Premier League. It's actually made it more appealing for the best players in the world and probably gives it the reputation it has today as the best league to watch, not just because it's fast-paced, but because of the level of competition and quality. So I agree with the factual side, Mr. Thunder, but I don't agree with your punt into it destroying the Premier League, said like a true Newcastle fan who's been taken over in recent years. But anyway, moving swiftly on, enjoy your free bet. Next one, the betting edge, says, again, this is a controversial one by every name of the word. English managers are overrated by all the media. Now, I feel in a decent position to talk about this because of Eddie Howe. What I would argue is probably the only current successful English manager right now in the top league in England. And I don't agree that they are overrated by the media. What I would say is what I notice is that they get a bit of a free pass when the going gets tough. And I don't mean they're not criticised at all and they don't make headlines, but they don't get the level of scrutiny that your Arnes do, that your Pep Guardiolas do, etc., etc., etc. And to be honest, is there really that many English managers in the game at the moment? At the top? As I'm recording this, Mr. Sean Dyche, he's been sacked. Yeah, he was all fun and games in the press conference. He's probably gone down the pub. Sean Dyche is gone. I don't think he ever really got too overrated by the media. But I look a little bit deeper, and let's face it, Liam Rosenior, who has just been brought into the Premier League in such a big job, bit of a random appointment, he's getting absolutely battered. Yes, it might be more the Twitter warriors, not the media, that are saying some of the things, but God, I've seen him compared to Will from the In-Betweeners. Chelsea friend! I've seen him pulled apart like a LinkedIn-using, modern-day gibberish spouting manager that hasn't even been given a chance before he's even managed a match, and he hasn't started too badly. And then I look at Gareth Southgate. God, he got England some of their biggest success since we bloody won the thing back in 1966, and he'll just be relieved not to be on the back of the sun anymore since he left the England job. So, overrated by the media. I'm going to have to disagree with that one. Enjoy your free bet, Mr. Betting Edge, but I don't feel like you've got the edge in that one. I don't really agree. But anyway, let's get into the next one. This one's a tough one to talk about for me. This is a tough one to even say out loud. Parky30 says, Man United are going to win the league. Now, if this was generally speaking, I would say, Parky, if you mean in the next 50 to 60 years, yeah, there's every chance that could happen. But I've got to assume that Parky is talking about this season under Michael Carrick. And look, sigh, breathe. Let's just dissect this one. It is controversial in every way, shape and form. But Michael Carrick has started brilliantly well. You know, you don't get much of a tougher ask than Man City, Arsenal are going to win the league, it looks like. And to go and to beat both and go 4 matches in a row, 4 wins in a row is nothing short of brilliant. And, you know, the Man United fans have got every reason to be optimistic, to be happy, to be excited about what they're watching now. But win the league. I mean, what Carrick at the wheel? We back. Is this Rio Ferdinand's burner account? He doesn't need a £5 free bet. He should be supplying enough. If it's you, Rio, watching this, just own up. We've heard it all before. We back. We're going to return the glory years. Let's go after the... It's just... I feel like if Man United fans were a little bit more grounded, they'd be a healthier fan base for themselves and for everyone else that has to listen to this kind of opinion when Man United see some upturn in form. I'm not disregarding what Michael Carrick has done by any means since coming in. Brilliant. Good for him. But was it really going to be too difficult? I think even an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's been there before, if he'd have come in to get some confidence back and some freedom back in, really talented footballers, Bruno Fernandes, Cunha and Buemo, very good players, and also just not play a system that Ruben Amorim would rather have bloody jumped off a bridge than changed in his time at Man U. A system that maybe suits them more, that maybe frees them up a little bit more, that gives them more of a chance against certain opposition. It wasn't rocket science, really, was it? And I kind of hope, as someone who's not a big fan of Man U, admittedly, that Michael Carrick does get given the job permanently, because I just feel like it'll just go exactly like it has before. But no, Man United are back. But regardless, even the free bet for Mr. Parky30 in this conversation, shouldn't it be looked at by Alex Ferguson? Shouldn't it have his blessing and his approval? Everything else does. God, the light and the position of this microphone should have gone through him first before we even talked about Man U, because that's the Man U way. But anyway, yeah, Parky, enjoy your £5 free bet. I'm sure that'll be going on. Man United to win the league at very good odds. Next up is SLC, please let me be. Mr. SLC, I like this one, says Villa Park is the most pantomime crowd of all time. Absolutely ear-deafening when they're winning, but God forbid they're a goal down. It's like a library in there. Can we get someone, Mr. SLC, more than £5 in free bets? I agree, and then some. I am someone who has been to Aston Villa in the away numerous times, and I could not agree more. And yes, I will be honest and say that St James's Park can be very much the same way. And now that expectations have changed, and I think that could be a key factor with Aston Villa under Mr. Unai Emery, Count Dracula, that they expect more now. So when things aren't going well on the pitch, that's where their fan base is in terms of chanting. But my God, that halt end halts the noise when they're not winning. I haven't seen us have much success there in recent years, I must admit, but we did win 3-1 a couple of seasons ago. Silence, even at 1-0. Start of this season, 0-0. They had a man sent off in that match they needed. First game of the season. So if you lose, it's not the end of the world. Silence. And yes, we had most of the ball. We dominated. We couldn't score. But it was like a morgue in there. So yes, Aston Villa, I think, fantastic football club, fantastic, passionate fan base, great history, a great old-fashioned stadium, a team that should be in the Premier League year upon year. But that Holt end and the atmosphere, when they're winning, yes, it's rocking. But I totally agree. Mr. SLC, I agree so much that if you name yourself, if you ever see me in a bar in Newcastle, I will get you a pint, I will shake your hand, and we will have a good chat about the infamous silence that we have both experienced and heard in Aston Villa. So enjoy that free bet, and that one feels like it's for me personally because I agree so much. Next up, last but certainly not least, Mr. CK Bet Hub. CK Bet Hub says, Szoboszlai takes free kicks like the net has insulted his mother. Do you know what? That's pretty fair. And I think back to a certain Zinedine Zidane, one of the legends of the game, and how he took an insult during the match to a family member. Well, last ever thing he did in professional football was headbutt Materazzi as his team lost the World Cup final. So if Szoboszlai is using in his head insults to his mother to score absolutely worldy free kicks, I say that's a good use of negative energy, wouldn't you? But no, in all seriousness, some of the free kicks, not only the opposition he's done it against, obviously at the weekend against Manchester City, he's done it against Arsenal this season. That technique, absolutely. I think it should be Thunder Punt, the first comment that I shared that should have said this, because he does exactly that. A thunder, I'll say a punt, you could say something different. Every single time he strikes it. Do you know what it is? It's just a breath of fresh air to see free kicks. And I'm a bit old school. I remember Alan Shearer getting the ball laid off and just putting everything through it in his good old-fashioned Velcro tongue over Umbro boots, just leathering it. And if it goes in, the goalkeeper, if it goes anywhere near the target, the goalkeeper's got no chance. None of this lie down behind the wall. One player takes a break and catches up and has a cup of coffee in case the ball tactically goes low. Just absolutely leather it. So I cannot disagree. Whatever Szoboszlai is channeling when he's taking them free kicks for Liverpool, whether it is, you know, insults to his mother, insults to his missus, insults to whatever it might be, it is working wonderfully. And those free kicks have been nothing short of marvellous. So, Mr. CK, that free bet is yours. And I would probably use it wisely and put it on Szoboszlai to score a free kick anytime, because that at the moment is pretty good money as long as that net keeps insulting his mother. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. That's 4 big controversial opinions that I've dissected, agreed with, disagreed with, and I hope everyone that sent them in enjoys their free bets. I'll hopefully see you on a video soon, and keep it controversial.